Welcome everyone to the CDO magazine series of one-on-one interviews with CDOs, data leaders, and key influencers. I'm your host, Robert Lutton, Vice President Central Consultants, and I'm coming to you today from Toronto, Canada, working with the CDO magazine, MIT CIQ Symposium, and the International Society of Chief Data Officers. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing Bob Parr, the Principal with KPMG and the Chief Data Officer of KPMG US Advisory Service or Advisory Office. Welcome, Bob.
Robert, great to be here.
It's our pleasure. And let me just go straight into it because I know that you've been working with KPMG for many years, consulting to CDOs in the financial services. But I understand recently, and about 2 years ago, you've taken on a new internal role with KPMG as their Chief Data Officer for their advisory business. So can you tell our audience how your view of the role of the CDO has changed over time?
Yeah, it's a great question, Robert. So going back about 3 or 4 years, the work I was doing with CDOs and was still very heavily focused on what I would call foundational elements. So things like master data management, data governance and standards development, data quality services, managing an EDW, those types of things. And while those are important still, clearly you got to look beyond that. You got to think about a broader portfolio of functions and services that you provided. And so as I took on this internal role, I recognized, the CDO is actually a really, can be a really great platform for change within an organization. And just to bring that into my context, we have a strategic tenet in advisory that we use data in everything we do. And so if you unpack that, what it means is it's very broad based. You can't achieve that on the backs of a few data scientists here and there. That this has to be broad based change. And so, you essentially are starting to change the way people think about the work they do, whether it be the tools, the methods, and even the use of assets. And so, I realized if I was going to embrace that mission, which was really important to our organization, that, I had to rethink of this role more as a transformer, a catalyst for helping mobilize the organization around that. And so as a result, the existing portfolio, while it, on all the traditional elements, didn't lessen in importance, but I had to index more on the types of things that would change our culture and really connect with helping grow the enterprise with data. So.
Well, I can tell you, there's none better, Bob, than yourself to be an agent for a change and grow that platform. So really happy to see it, and really happy to see that yourself with a long history at KPMG being able to bring your knowledge to forge new and improved paths. So congratulations on this. Perhaps now that you've taken on this new role, as KPMG grows, can you help us understand what are some of the ways you are connecting data to empower your people?
Yeah, and it really, you said the right word. It's really about empowering and really equipping our people to use data to drive more value for clients, but also to innovate with data. And so it really, in my mind, it comes down to about 4 big things that have been the focus for me. The first really starts with the focus on mindset and data literacy. And you can't mobilize thousands of people around changing the way they think about doing work without that. And so it starts with mindset and awareness, gets into a more formal literacy program. And I think data literacy is really an underappreciated function of the CDO. And also when I talk about data literacy, it's really data analytics and AI literacy. I group them all together because they're so interlinked. And you really need the analytics and the AI part to really connect to the value So, people need to see data as the raw materials. It's at the core. You think there first, but then you need to be skilled in what to do with that data. And so we've got a tremendous spectrum of skills in this space in the firm. We have a ton of PhDs that are very advanced. On the other hand, we have people, working their way out of Excel, like many organizations out there today. And so we've got a 5-level program in a structured way, to help ladder people up in their skill sets and build not only awareness, but competency around tools and methods and really data storytelling. That's also a really important part. But, the other thing, once you've got the skills, you also got to connect people to the data assets. And this is really critical, and it really comes down to the data catalog, the business term focused data catalog that's really intensely curated, because it has to make sense to the business audience and the non-technical audience, the folks that are lower back in their literacy journey or earlier in their literacy journey. So that was also a big focus. And then I realized, as teams are building their skills, there are areas when, their needs are really going to be beyond what they can muster, and they're going to have access to more specialized skills and capabilities. And so, there's a need for what I call strategic data utilities. And let me give you an example. So, for us, it's things like benchmarking. You're not going to have distributed benchmarking capabilities. You're going to do that centrally, and you're going to deploy that type of that capability from the center. As well, there's things like a signals group that is monitoring external signals around the economy and the environment, and they've curated those signals, and they're looking for and using those to predict answers to a business question. So whether it be propensity to buy something, whether it be fraud or risk, that type of thing. So there's specialized teams that deploy deep data science that help the groups in the field do more than what they could otherwise on their own. And then lastly, a lot of this, I'm trying to empower self-service whenever I can, but it's a realization that self-service only gets you so far. And we found that when you have thousands of data assets that are out there that are available for teams to use, it can be overwhelming. And so we need a human in the loop. We need people, and really a new role that we call a data concierge, to help connect the people developing the solutions and serving clients with the assets of the firm. And so that's all 4 of those really, come together to really help create some broad-based change for our organization and line up against our growth agenda.